man. Just wait on Niggy to come on. I don't see him. I did bring you on. Sure, what's going on right now? Nope. Still not there. Not sure if it's me or what's going on, but just waiting on. There you go. Nope. I lost it. Hold on. Let me try and bring it back one more time. All right, there you go. We're gonna have to settle for. What is this, Mick? What's going on? You got bad internet tonight? What's going on?
Well, I don't know what happened to my laptop. It just crashed. So trying to boot it up right now.
All right, you're good. And what's going on, everybody? It's NBA Front Row, the podcast, episode 26. It's your boy Jap. It's your boy Migs. And well, it's been a fun day. It's been a fun day of NBA basketball. I got my boy Migs with me here. Before we begin, I'd like to give a mad shout out to two particular businesses. Our boys down over at City Q, Quay Dilau. Again, if you guys want something nice and spicy to go with your dim sum or whatever the hell you want to put your food on, or if you want to give your food a nice little kick, City Q is the way to go, for real. And also a big mad shout out to showroom.ph, quality homes, quality prices. Again, if you're looking for a home in the Queen City of the South, whether it be a studio unit, a 1-bedroom unit, 2-bedroom unit, fully attached, single attached home, showroom.ph is your go-to for all of that. Migs, before we begin, and because we got a lot to cover, it was a fun day of NBA action over the past couple of days. Who do you want to give a shout out to? Who do you want to show some love to?
Oh yeah, just quick shout out to again everyone who listens to our live shows, diba?
For sure.
We're in Skatipay. Thanks, man. Quaid Dilau, you know what's up. You know what's up. You know he's
sure
legit.
He does.
You know the chili sauce is legit.
Hell yeah.
And then Aika.
You lost it. You lost it there.
Yeah.
I thought you were
By the way,
up to say something, and you're like, I didn't know what I wanted to say. Like, are you gonna say something or
no?
What? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Aika, and
For sure.
For some reason, Aika's been really updated in the NBA lately. And
she has an NBA boyfriend. What do you expect?
No, I mean, yeah, but when the Lakers were playing, she didn't seem that interested. Now that they're out of the playoffs, all of a sudden.
Isn't she like from Chicago? So like, don't people from
all of a
Chicago
sudden
hate LA people? I don't know. How does that work?
Aika, what's up? Aika, what's up? Do you have money on the Clippers for some reason? Aika.
Speaking of the Clippers, they're actually the first team that we're going to talk about. They won. Well, they had such a great chance. It was game 1 earlier, round 2 for the Los Angeles Clippers. They took on the Utah Jazz. The Jazz, in a word, what I would say, not really survived. More like they took the game back from the Clippers. The Clippers led by as many as 13 points in this game. Kawhi Leonard did a pretty decent job, but Paul George was severely missing for the Clippers. Reggie Jackson fouled out early in the fourth quarter, and the Clippers managed to escape 112-109 via a Rudy Gobert block that basically sealed the W. Markieff Morris basically took it from the corner, tried it, Gobert blocked it, tried it again, but the Jazz defense was definitely stifling to end that game. Migs, what are we expecting from this series? What are the things that we can look forward to? After that game 1, a lot of people were saying that this was what we expected the Bucks and Nets matchup to be. But the past 2 games with the Bucks and Nets have been complete duds.
Has not worked out for the Bucks.
Has not absolutely worked out for them at all. They look like a team that's in dire straits. They can't stop the Nets on offense. Virtually, we made this call already from the beginning.
Doesn't this happen every year? Like, doesn't this happen every year? Now, whoever they face, they're gonna demolish. They're gonna destroy anyone they face in the first round, and then they make everyone think, "Oh my God, the Bucks have really put it together this year. They're gonna make it all the way."
Yeah.
And then the second round, they always seem to fuck it up.
They,
Diba? I mean,
I haven't seen the games. I haven't seen the
I mean,
games, but I think when I look at the stats, they're not. I mean, you just can't beat the Nets in a shootout. They're not missing shots. I think they're trying to outshoot the Nets. You're not gonna beat the Nets in a shootout. You're just
and,
not.
and I really think that it's no right now it's more of a coaching issue because
Whoa.
I mean the greatest knock on Coach Bud, even when he was with the Hawks, you remember those Hawks teams, but they'd always rank in the
Yeah.
top four. They ranked first at one point in the East, but then in the playoffs, they were duds in the playoffs. And the reason
Yeah.
was is that Coach Bud is known for being a great regular season coach, but in the
Uh huh.
playoffs, like, he does not or cannot seem to make all these mid series mid game adjustments. When he doesn't change his game plan, and for some reason, especially in the first two games, he has not like he does not ride the starters that hard. I mean, this is a second round. You're playing against the
Sorry.
Brooklyn Nets who have
Right.
you're playing against the Brooklyn Nets who, even without James Harden,
They're
still pretty
dominating you.
pretty good, pretty good.
They're
They were pretty
dominating them,
dominant.
and yeah,
And
and a lot
and
of
I,
people.
I I just
Right.
don't understand. I just don't understand. What are you saving your starters for? Like,
Right.
play Giannis 40 minutes. What the fuck, That's what that's why, like, he that's why he's the star of your team, because you're supposed to ride him when you need him. Now you're down. You're in a 0-2 hole, and then, even going back to Milwaukee, I don't know, because now
Yeah.
you've given guys like Mike James confidence. You've given Blake
Oh
Griffin a
yeah.
lot of confidence. He's dunking
Oh
now. He looks
yeah.
like Clippers Blake Griffin, diba? So I
He
just don't
looks so good
understand.
out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it would be better for Coach Bud to, like, keep it to a 7-man rotation. Like, ride
Right.
your starters, play them 40 minutes if you have to, because
Yeah.
that is what it's gonna take to win.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It's just disappointing. It's just disappointing because everyone was saying that I was starting to believe in the Bucks, diba? Diba, during the
Yeah.
regular season, I was one of the, like,
And after the Miami
I
Heat
was a doubter.
series. Yeah. After
Diba?
the
I
Heat
kept telling you
series.
I was a doubter.
Yeah.
Na I have to see them actually win games in the playoffs. Now, I thought
Right.
na them being so dominant against the Heat, oh, this is finally a great Bucks team. No, they've unlocked, like,
Yeah.
that next level within themselves now.
Yeah.
Because on paper, this is actually a very evenly matched series without
It
James
was
Harden.
supposed to
Very
be.
evenly matched.
It was supposed to
And
be.
now
Yeah.
it's even more worrying right now because they don't have their number one ball handler. They don't have their playmaker, and
Yeah.
they're still killing you. Like,
Not not just killing you. They beat them by 40 points the other game. Game two, they beat them by 40 points.
it's not a good look.
Not a good look. And really, I mean, when you, it's a. We talked about this from the very top when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets. We were worried about their defense. Defense is really just all about effort. And in every Mike D'Antoni or even Steve Nash, because Steve Nash is basically a Mike D'Antoni prodigy. I would be surprised as hell if all of a sudden his coaching philosophy centered around defense. For the majority of his entire life, for the majority of his basketball playing life, Steve Nash has known one thing and one thing very, very well. It's the offensive side of the ball. It's working that pick and roll. It's working an offense that fits really well with any kind of team. He was such a great point guard. He's a two-time MVP. And the one thing, again, that we were worried about with the Steve Nash coached Brooklyn Nets was the defensive end of the floor. And in the past two games, I mean, yeah, the understanding right now is that the Bucks are trying to win in a shootout, but I think that I gotta give the Nets a lot of credit for how they're doing it on defense. The Bucks only scored like 85, I think, in game two, and in game one they didn't do any better. I think they only scored 96. So they're really having a hard time shooting the ball, and they're having a hard time covering the other end of the ball. With the Brooklyn Nets, you gotta do something. You gotta clean up one end. Either you're gonna shoot the ball really well and give up the defensive end in favor of that, or you're gonna have to be locked down on defense and hope your shots fall. But you can't give up both. It's too hard. The Nets look really good right now. I swear, like there doesn't seem to be a team in my mind right now that can really take this team out. Not the Sixers. Although it must be pointed out that the Nets do struggle with centers. If it's a team that has a very good center, they have a very tough time with that team. And right now, the Philadelphia 76ers, they're looking like the team that just might be able to serve as somewhat of a roadblock for the Brooklyn Nets. And even over in the West, I don't think anybody in the West can take this. Sorry. I don't think any team in the West can really take this team. You got the Jazz led by Rudy Gobert, but he's not an offensive force whatsoever. Not by any stretch of the imagination. The Clippers, Zubac is not a threat. Not at all. Then you got the other two remaining teams. Jokic is probably your best bet for the Denver Nuggets, but the Denver Nuggets aren't that loaded on both sides of the floor. All right, it's Michael Porter Jr., and that's it. This is where they might miss Jamal Murray if ever they get that far down the road. And then you got Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns. Probably if the Phoenix Suns make it out of that series, they might just make the finals, and I'd be super stoked if they do. And DeAndre Ayton is a decent big man enough for him to be a problem for the Brooklyn Nets. So you got Ayton, Jokic out in the West, and then the only other guy that can possibly pose a problem in the Eastern Conference for the Brooklyn, because they look so good. I don't think the Bucks are going to beat them in this series. I think it's going to be a sweep. Either that or it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. I just don't see a Kevin Durant-led team falling to this Giannis team. I mean, again, all right, they got Drew Holiday. He was supposed to be their main shutdown guy. That's great. But the problem now, again, I just go back to this whole Chris Middleton problem with the Bucks, and also with the coaching problem. I'll talk about the coaching problem in a bit. But with Chris Middleton, he's just not that scorer. He's just not that guy. Like, he can get you a couple, but he's not a great second takeover kind of guy. I just don't see it. Like, I'm not that high on Chris Middleton because he looks more like an advanced version of Kyle Korver. You can put it on the floor, maybe, but he's not that great a scorer. I've just never been sold on Chris Middleton. And the Bucks really need to do something in Game 3 because
to be fair to Middleton, I think he's just had like a poor first two games, but then it's just frustrating to see the Bucks kind of bail out the Nets defense because when you have Giannis who stops at the 3-point line and pulls up from three, that bails out the Nets defense because there's no one on the Nets that can guard Giannis. Yeah.
But he's open though.
But no, I know he's open, but sometimes you do have to force the issue. You have to play to your strengths. If you play to your weaknesses, yeah, maybe he's shooting a much better percentage now from three, but I'm saying that's not his strength. So if he only plays to his strengths and attacks that Nets defense and not bail them out by pulling up from three, I mean that could really give the Nets some problems because now you look at the Nets lineup and then Nick Claxton can't guard Giannis. Blake Griffin cannot guard Giannis.
That's true.
Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, who is Kevin Durant, in my opinion, is the best defender in the Nets. He cannot guard Giannis. But Giannis has to find that beast within him to just say, fuck it, give me the ball, I'm gonna drive it. And he shouldn't be, he shouldn't catch the ball and just, he shouldn't catch the ball on the stop. He should catch the ball on the go, catch it on a cut, and just go hard, go straight to the basket.
That out. Because a lot of times, so Giannis Antetokounmpo, basically his game is right now is still like 1 or 2 dimensional. He's gonna take it to the rim and shoot free throws. That's it. That's where it's like the most effective. He's gonna take it to the rim or he's gonna shoot a couple of free throws. He's not a very consistent jump shooter. He doesn't have a consistent jump shot from the 3-point line or anywhere around the perimeter. But he does have a good handle. He has incredible athleticism. He's one of the faster guys in the league at his height, and he's very fast, by the way. He's got great speed. And the tough part is, so every time Giannis gets the ball, I'm not sure if it would be more beneficial for him to be outside where he can go downhill because the defense loads up, or if it's also good for him to be down in the post because that would make it easier for him to be double teamed. But the coaching staff of the Bucks have to figure this out. Like, okay, somebody else got to get going, and somebody else got to play make to get the pressure off of Giannis. Because, I mean, if Giannis does keep doing that, every team in the NBA knows how to defend Giannis. It's just that Giannis, more often than not, has overcome the wall. It's called the Giannis wall. Basically, when Giannis has the ball, where Giannis likes to operate a lot is at the top of the key. He's gonna get the ball. He's gonna try to drive it downhill. The reason why it's at the top of the key is because it's the best place for him to either go left or right. It's easier for the defense to load up and defend you if you're coming from either wing, because one will lead you to the weak side and one will lead you to the baseline, and the other gives you a lot more space. So that's why a lot of times when you see Giannis operate, it's at the top of the key so that he can go either left or right. But that also just allows for the defense to shell up in the paint, and then you're able to wall him up, and he's not able to get to the paint. If he even tries to push his way into the paint or plow his way to the paint, it's not happening. There's just too many guys, too many bodies for him to go through. So a lot of what because it's not, again, they're not going to beat the Nets in a shootout. So if Giannis is not going to get his way on offense, they really got to lock down in defense. And the hardest part about that, just thinking about that, is, okay, you're not going to shut down the Nets. You're not going to shut down Kevin Durant. You're not going to shut down Kyrie Irving. These guys are going to get theirs. They're going to get like 30 or 30, whatever. The only option you have is to make sure that you play good enough defense than everybody else. It's the Luka Doncic situation with them. Only there's two of them. You got to take your pick. It just has to happen that way.
I mean, diba? I mean, you said it during game one, diba? That it's scary to look at the Nets now because they're actually playing some defense. And again, that's without that's without James Harden, huh?
That is without James.
My problem lang with the Bucks is that, and you said it earlier, you can't allow them to beat you on both ends, diba? So you have to, okay.
You have to take something.
You can't, diba? You can't guarantee na you're gonna shoot the lights out every game. Okay, that's a given. But you know, defense should always travel.
Right.
Like whether you're in home court, whether you're playing on, whether you're playing in Brooklyn, your defense should always be there.
Right.
And then that's what Drew Holiday is for. Diba? Drew Holiday is supposed to lock up one of those three guys, one of those two guys who are remaining. Diba? Right. And he hasn't done that. And then you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is actually still our reigning defensive player of the year. Yeah. And I don't know if he's hesitating whenever he guards KD, because I know KD is one of the most talented scorers ever.
Right.
It's just too easy. I mean, it shouldn't be that easy, but this is the second round. This is the second round. I don't like Giannis should be able to like beat the guy up, diba? Like, you know, I mean, make it tough for him to even get a shot up.
And the funny part about what you're saying really is that for the most part of this entire series, Giannis has been the one guarding Kevin Durant. And it hasn't been a lot on, like, you know, random switches. He's really taking the time to guard Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant is just, I mean, he's not in a lot of ISO situations against Giannis. There are a lot of highlights that have him ISO'd against Giannis. But, again, Kevin Durant is just one of these really all-time great scorers, and he's one of these overwhelming presences on the court. And what I mean by overwhelming is that you got to think, okay, how do you stop a guy who's 7 foot tall, can shoot from three, from the perimeter?
Yeah, but Jav, I mean, what I'm saying is that it shouldn't be that easy. Like Kevin Durant drives the basket, and there's no one there to meet him.
Yeah, I mean, he's making it look easier. I mean, this is not necessarily. I said this before with Kevin Durant, and I'll say it always. Like, he just makes you think it's a hard shot. Look, he makes it look so easy, right? And I think we also
that's what they. That's why I'm very concerned, because that's why I'm saying, man, Coach Bud should ride his starters like all the way. Like, I get it, you know, PJ Tucker is defending KD, but you know, fucking challenge Giannis, diba? Tell Giannis na, hey, you know, you have to stop this guy. If you don't stop him, we don't have a chance.
It's
And
like
then
what happened in the first round with
I don't
Dallas and the
like
Clippers, right?
I don't care if Giannis plays the whole 48 minutes. He's gonna
Right,
have to for them to have a
right,
chance.
right.
I mean,
And it's looking like that. Yeah,
if you just look at these two rosters on paper, like the Bucks are still the deeper team.
in a way, in a
Diba?
way, yeah.
They're much deeper team. I just don't get why like you have someone like Mike James beat
Yeah,
you. I mean, Mike James is pretty good, but
right, but he's not that good.
why is he the guy beating you? Why is Blake Griffin all of a sudden finding the fountain of youth? I mean, he shouldn't be
Right,
able to do that,
right,
diba?
right. And he's dunking the ball too. So a lot of question marks for the Bucks heading into Game 3, and we're definitely going to see. We're going to have to see because this is a lot more coaching than it is actual player personnel. I mean, again, they got thrashed by nearly 40 points in Game 2, and they also got their ass beat in Game 1. And we got to talk about the other game, the game that happened earlier in the day, the Clippers and the Jazz. Really, really fun game. And the only thing I can say is that Donovan Mitchell is probably the third or second most underrated guy in the NBA. And when I say that, I'm talking about being the number one most underrated player in the NBA being Damian Lillard. And it could be Donovan Mitchell because, again, this guy led his team. He's the leader of the team, whether you like it or not, whether you recognize it or not, or whether you accept it or not. Donovan Mitchell is the leader of this Jazz team. Sans Mike Conley for Game 1, he put on a Superman cape in the second half and literally carried, absolutely powered the Utah Jazz to, again, the 112-109 win, scored 45 points. It was a 45-point masterpiece with Dwayne Wade watching, part owner of the Utah Jazz already. And it was just a sight to behold because there was a stretch there, I think it was early in the fourth quarter, where he scored like 10 straight points, and no one, not even Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, could do anything about it. They were scratching their heads. They were so confused. If it weren't for Ivica Zubac, if it weren't for Luke Kennard, and if it weren't for a couple of other key players on that Clippers team, this would have been a blowout in the second half. Because the Jazz just played straight up basketball. They looked really good earlier on. And I felt like, again, the Jazz sort of escaped because how often are you going to see a 45-point masterpiece from Donovan Mitchell? And how often are you going to see somebody from the Jazz explode like that? For a team that's well known for passing the ball, distributing it, and getting threes up and in, this is tricky. This is a very tricky series. And again, the Clippers only lost by 3 points. They led by as many as 13 entering into the second half mix.
Yeah, I mean, no, it was I'd call it I'd still call it a good game for the Clippers,
Right.
considering you have PG and Kawhi shoot very poorly. Interesting fact for this game, Kawhi actually shoots the worst when he plays against the Jazz. And I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the altitude. I don't know if it's the Jazz defense. But the point I'm trying to make is it was still a pretty good game for the Clippers. That you have your two superstars shoot very poorly, and you only lose by 3.
Yeah.
Diba? And you were
Zubac again was a
like
big part of that.
Yeah.
Even
I mean,
Zubac, Nico Batum.
Yeah. And considering Ivica Zubac, everyone thought that Zubac would be a non-factor in this series
Everybody.
because
I was actually about to shoot you a message. Hold on. I was actually about to shoot you a message and say, what would have happened if the Lakers at least try to keep Zubac? Because right now he's looking really, really good. Like he was so hard to box out. Legit, like I was looking at the game and Rudy Gobert, there was a possession where Paul George goes up for a 3, and all 4 Jazz players had to crash the paint because Zubac was just standing. And here's the funniest part. So when the ball hits the rim, Zubac still has a hand on the ball. Like they were able to box this guy out. He was absolutely dominating the offensive boards.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the role players stepped up here. It was a good DeMarcus Cousins game.
Oh, that was not bad.
Boogie showed up. Boogie showed up.
A Boogie sighting, if you will.
Yeah, Luke Kennard made some shots. But what I'm trying to say is, this is not like, Jazz fans would be really happy because Donovan Mitchell got 40 and they were up for most of the game. Right. But then this is not.
It's not your typical Jazz win.
Yeah, but this should not be too much of a celebration for Jazz fans because you gave up like a 14-point lead. Was it
No, the
14 or 12
Clippers.
point lead in the fourth?
No, they never led by that much. Actually, it was a very nip and tuck game. I know they had a 10-point lead heading into the final couple of minutes.
I think they led by. I think at one point they led by 12, and then I mean, it's complicated for the Jazz because you have Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell has to score in the high 30s to the 40s for the
For them to have a
Jazz to
chance.
for the Jazz to really have a good chance of winning. And the thing
Yeah,
with the Jazz is they sometimes do over rely on the three ball. And
they
then when you
do.
look at the lineup, like when you look at the lineup, their best five is probably Conley, Donovan Mitchell,
Boyan,
Ingles,
Mike
Bogdanovich,
Boyan. Got it.
Gobert, diba?
Gobert.
So I mean, and of those five, Donovan Mitchell is the only guy who can create his own shot, like who can get into the seams of the defense and make a play. Like Conley is
Yeah,
not Conley is not that player anymore. He didn't even play this game, and
right.
it's just concerning for me for the Jazz because one of these games during this series, their shots will not fall. Like it will be like you remember the first half they had
Yeah.
terrible shooting in the first half.
Terrible shooting.
No,
Missed, I think,
there
20 straight. I'm not sure.
there
Could be wrong.
one of the there's gonna be one or two of those games during this series where they can't just where they just
When the
can't shoot
well
for shit.
runs dry. Yeah,
Yeah. So
definitely.
there no.
And
So when that happens, and the defense just loads up on Donovan Mitchell, like no, Jordan Clarkson is pretty good. I think I mean he is six man of the year, but
right.
he it's difficult for me to see the Jazz winning with Jordan Clarkson as your primary guy on offense if everyone just loads up on Donovan Mitchell.
It's going to be
Diba?
super hard for the Jazz again if it's going to be really difficult for them to really even pick up a W if they're in this type of situation. Really, because again, they didn't win in typical Jazz fashion. That's number one. And number two, I'm not trying to take away anything from their win earlier, but again, it took a Donovan. It basically took a couple of things. Number one, it took a 45-point performance from Donovan Mitchell. It took a game-saving block to get them out of that that W. And again, it took Kawhi Leonard and Paul George shooting really bad. Now, I got to move on to this, though. Paul George, he hasn't performed at all in the playoffs. I haven't seen it. He's not performing bad. Don't
He
get
was
it
okay
wrong.
in the Mavs series.
It was not bad in the Mavs. That's what I'm saying. He hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been great either, which leads a lot of people to believe that for all of Paul George's aura, for all of Paul George's ability to attract attention, so on and so forth, is he overrated? Is he somebody that, if you're a defense, you're overthinking of defending? Because so Paul George for the Clippers has sort of functioned as the de facto point guard. If it weren't for Reggie Jackson stepping his game up, I doubt the Clippers would even be in the second round because it was a lot of Reggie Jackson in Game 6 and Game 7. He bailed them out in so many situations by hitting big shots. I can't even emphasize how big Reggie Jackson is to this team right now because, again, Paul George has been absent. In this game, I think he shot like 4 for 18. He did make that go-ahead three. In the dying seconds to pull them within 3, 109-112. But that was it. Other than that, Paul George, again, absent. I don't see any kind of aggression. I don't see him attacking the rim. He's always pulling it back, shooting a jump shot. I'm like, who is Paul George, who's supposed to be a vital cog in the LA Clippers lineup? How big does he have to be for the Clippers to make sure that when they play these games, they have a high probability of winning?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with LeBron and AD on the Lakers. You look at the lineup for the Clippers.
Yeah.
Like there isn't really another guy who you can depend on to be a consistent like offensive threat every game. So the same with the Lakers, diba?
Hold on. I wouldn't really
I mean,
say that
wait,
they're the same with the Lakers because I would argue Kawhi Leonard's been able to carry this team in Game 5, 6, and 7. It's been Kawhi Leonard. That's the thing.
No,
yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is that it's similar to the Lakers in the sense that you do need AD and LeBron to score like 25 points a game for you to be really comfortable during the game, diba? For you to really feel good. Okay, we're gonna get this one. So for the Clippers, like I get it, Paul George does need to step up, but I mean he hasn't been bad. mean, this is a poor shooting game, and this is just
he needs
game
a
one.
headline game. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I don't know if it's again. I don't know if it's the altitude in Utah or it's just the sheer impact of the crowd there, of the fans. But what's troubling for me with the Clippers is that you can't expect Luke Kennard to score 18 points and shoot 4 for 6 from three every game.
Okay.
You can't
I get that.
expect Zubats to be like an unstoppable rebounder every game.
Yeah.
So like who's a third guy just in case your two superstars
Rondo.
have an off night.
Rajon
I mean,
Rondo.
man, if Rondo's your
But that's what
third
I'm
best
saying, though.
guy,
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so Paul George again has just completely underperformed based on expectations. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, why are we not seeing a
as a
lot
whole on
more?
the Clippers, like
As a whole, he's been underwhelming. Like, again, if it weren't for Kawhi Leonard saving them in Game 6, and if it weren't for Reggie Jackson stepping up in the last 3 games in that Dallas series, and if it weren't for Reggie Jackson pouring in a good number of points in this game with the Jazz, I don't think the Clippers would even be in this position, because if Reggie Jackson wasn't there to bail them out, we would be talking about the Clippers off season and how they would probably need to move Paul George. Because again, he's just underperformed. He needs to get like 25, 6, and 5. Or 28, 6, and 5. Because that's the expectation. I'm sorry. I mean, you're Paul George. You're supposed to be the all-star that they brought in. And you and Kawhi Leonard are supposed to be this unbelievable tandem in the backcourt. I've only seen Kawhi Leonard thus far. That's the thing. Only Kawhi Leonard has shown up to the party with Reggie Jackson. And the reason why I keep bringing up Reggie Jackson is because you don't expect this from him. You don't expect him to
yeah,
get 20, 25 points, but he is. And Paul George, again, playing de facto point guard, he's going like 24 and 5, 25 and 2. These are numbers that I'm not supposed to be seeing from Paul George. I'm expecting 28,
Reggie
6,
Jackson.
and 5.
Reggie
What's
Jackson
going
was
on?
pretty. I mean, he was okay this game, and if not for the foul trouble, very early, and he fouled out very early in the fourth.
He
I
did like 8
mean,
minutes in the fourth.
he would have been big down the stretch, but then
Yeah.
I mean, let's just give PG a chance. I mean, we've been hearing playoff P for so long now, but I think it's been established. No? He's not your number one guy. You shouldn't expect him to be your number one guy. He's a very good like number two star, a B star, and then sometimes your B stars do have poor games. This is just game
He,
one. I mean, hey Jeff, come on, Jeff. I mean, this
I
is
just
just
haven't been
game one.
convinced. I'm not convinced with Paul George.
He did grab 10 rebounds, and then he did make all those free throws down the stretch. So I mean, let's give him the benefit of the next 2 games, and then I personally expect him to have 2 or 3 really good games during this series because the Jazz guys, and I have to say this, Joe Ingles was up to his old tricks again this
Right,
game. He was he
right,
was he was being a dick again.
right.
Joe Ingles, man, what is up with all these Australians and all their like shenanigans?
I have no
But
idea.
I'm just saying, when you look at the Jazz, they already have their hands full with Kawhi. No, Paul George might be the forgotten man on this. Uh, they might forget about Paul George. So if they only have if the Jazz only have someone like Bogey on him or even Joe Ingles, I mean Paul George can score on those guys. But I think
Again,
this was just a poor
yeah.
shooting. Let's give him a
I mean,
chance,
again,
Jeff.
I'll give him the chance. He's gonna keep getting his chances. He's got 3 more chances unless they get granted they don't get swept. He's gonna have a lot more to prove that he's not pandemic beat. And I feel bad for Paul George. I'm not a big Paul George fan. I'm not even his biggest critic. I just kind of I love it when the haters and the noise gets shut down. It's just there was something poetic justice wise for me about that. Like when I'm not a fan of Luka, I'm not a fan of the Clippers, but I just thought there was some type of poetic justice when people all of a sudden went really quiet when the Clippers won that series because that Wikipedia post again about who the owner of the Clippers are and who the owner of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are. And I just thought it was really funny that, again, don't jump the gun. Don't underestimate your opponent because this team is still pretty good. But, again, going back to Paul George, I just want him to give himself the chance to really shut the haters up. Like, Kawhi Leonard, for all his greatness in these playoffs and in playoffs past, he does need help. He does need help because, again, Reggie Jackson isn't exactly the number 2 guy, not even the number 4 or 5 guy that you expect to show up on a nightly basis. But so far in these playoffs, he has, again, stepped it up. But who is the other guy that if you're Clippers management, you're the Clippers coaching staff, you're the Clippers players, you expect to go out there and absolutely have a great game? Kawhi Leonard's been doing it. 23 points, 9 for 19 from the field. But Paul George, just nothing. The nada. Like, I just want to see Paul George get his 28, 8, and 8 or 37 and 5, whatever that's that. He's a very versatile player. And the reason why, again, I put so much emphasis on Paul George is because, again, it's all about like don't give the haters an opportunity to chant Pandemic P when you're shooting free throws. Don't give the haters in the Jazz an opportunity to make fun of you when you're shooting 4 for 17. It's not a good look. And lastly, don't give the haters an opportunity to constantly be proven right. And it's up to Paul George, really, to prove them wrong. And that's the whole point of what I'm saying. We need a 37-7 from Paul George in Game 2 or Game 3, whatever game he can come up with. Because Kawhi Leonard, again, you're going to get it. He's automatic. He's a great player like that. He's going to get his numbers. But Paul George, again, for me, underwhelming. We need to see something big from him. Ultimately, for the Clippers to really have a great chance of pulling this out. And right now, the only team I even have sort of making it to out of the Western Conference are the Clippers. Because they're the team that's loaded with the talent to do so. It's not the Jazz, not by any stretch of the imagination, not the Suns, not the Nuggets, who are down their second best player in Jamal Murray. The Suns, they're great, but they're not Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And again, the Jazz are also, but they're just not Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. That's all I'm saying. Again, I want
Jazz Clippers. This Jazz Clippers series is a classic, like, tale of the team with the superstars and the team that does it by committee. Was like, 5 guys who are really good, but there's
Spurs and Lakers.
Because
2000s.
Yeah. But because we don't. I mean, Donovan Mitchell has dropped 45, and then there was a stat earlier. His second all time with the Jazz was 40 plus point playoff games, and then
the only other person,
but the thing is,
who else is after those two? Come on, now.
Yeah, but I mean the point I was trying to make is that Donovan Mitchell has been really good for a couple of years now, but we still don't think of him as like a superstar.
Underrated.
Diba?
Underrated. So underrated. Donovan Mitchell. So underrated. I can't even begin to tell you. He's up there with Damian Lillard. He has to be. At this point, he has to be.
Yeah, but the thing with Donovan Mitchell is that it's still the shot selection. Like, how many times did we see him earlier? Just pull up from 3, and it was an air ball, like far right, far left, and then those were like, I mean, those are not the shots that you would want to like put your playoff lives on the line with. They should get better shots from Donovan Mitchell, but it's just. But hey, man, I mean, I believe in the Jazz hype. Again, that's just my concern. No? Is that when everyone loads up on Donovan Mitchell, who's the next guy? Who's the other guy who can not only get himself going but get everyone else going?
It's a very
because it's definitely not Jordan Clarkson.
No, it's
definitely not
Clarkson.
him.
He had a great game. And then you got guys like Joe Ingles. But you got to remember also, this is where Mike Conley becomes super, super important to them. Because if you remember in the Grizzlies series, their rotation was like this. So Conley and Gobert would go in at the same time. And then Donovan Mitchell would rotate out. And then you'd have a lineup where it's Donovan Mitchell, where he would be the main scorer, the main guy. And then Conley, again, and Gobert would rotate back in just to get... So that was a rotation. And this is where Mike Conley again is important because he is the reliever for Donovan Mitchell, and he's not a scorer reliever. Mike Conley to me is a great playmaker. I have to give credit where credit is due, and Mike Conley again is a terrific playmaker. He makes his teammates better. He does this at a really high clip. He's been doing it for so long, and right now that's the biggest problem for the Clippers because they lost this game since Mike Conley. And again, I know that they led by 13. I know that they also came back from a big lead in this game, but when Mike Conley comes back, there's more of a presence, and you're going to see a lot more Jazz basketball in games 2 or 3 moving forward. And again, without Mike Conley, I don't see another 45-point performance from Donovan Mitchell. I think if he even starts going off, you're going to see a lot more Kawhi Leonard on him in the second half or whatever part of the game that is, where he's going off, and then Kawhi Leonard's just like, I'm going to shut you down. Enough of this nonsense. It's absolutely enough.
Yeah, I mean, and for the Clippers, they really miss the presence of Serge Ibaka. I mean, he would be big for this series.
If they had
Serge, because he's a guy, like, because then you can have like your small ball 5, he can stretch the floor, and then his defense is still pretty good. And you can funnel guys to Ibaka and not worry about him picking up like stupid cheap.
My bad, Migs. Hey, you know what that is. All right, go ahead. No, go ahead. You're good. Unmute yourself. You gotta log out of the phone. You're good. You gotta take out the phone and then
Right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the feedback.
Right,
yeah, I mean, they really miss Serge because with Serge, then you have your small ball 5, and then you can stretch the floor, and then you can funnel like Jazz guys to him and not worry about like him picking up these cheap fouls, and then no, it's complicated for the Clippers in the sense na they are the most talented team left in the West, but at the same time, and I said this last episode, like their floor is so low. Because if they're bad, they're terrible for some reason, and they do have the propensity of being that team who can be so disappointing.
Yeah. There are a lot of expectations for the Clippers, and let's see what they do in Game 2. It's going to be super fun again because
I can't hear you, man.
What? What do you mean? Can't hear me? What happened? How about now? What's going on? How about now? Still can't?
No, I can't hear you.
How do you know? Talking about?
Oh, see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens live.
Can you hear me now?
So, shit like this happens like way too often on this show. And I have Jeff there showing off his new mic, and it doesn't even work.
Always use.
Come on, Jeff. Really?
Is it better now?
Dude, I cannot hear you. Nothing. There's nothing.
How about now? Seriously, still nothing?
No, I'm serious.
What? I didn't change it. I didn't touch nothing. How about now? Any better now? Jesus Christ. Hold on. I'm not sure what's going on.
I hear you now. Yeah, you're good now. You're good.
Okay. Oh, now I'm good. Okay, yeah. All right. Might be from your end because Derek just said he can hear the both of us fine. So, all right. Apologies for that. Let's move on. Now, the next couple of games, and then
my bad.
Sixers, Hawks, Nuggets, Suns. The Sixers absolutely put on a great show. It was Shake Milton who stepped up big time for the 76ers. Joel Embiid had a great game. He had a 40-point. He had a great game. He had a 40-piece on the Hawks. And I thought this was a great game for the Sixers overall because it kind of boosted their morale a little bit. And Matisse Thybulle has proven before. So Trae Young, I think, scored like 20 something in this game, but before like the latter part where it was all trash points already and trash minutes, Matisse Thybulle absolutely locked down Trae Young. He absolutely held him in check. Are we gonna see a lot more of this? What's the biggest adjustment that the Hawks need to make if they need to make one? Because Matisse Thybulle, again, remember when I say this, if you have, for example, a sizable lead like the Hawks did in Game 1, and the other team who's expected to be the better team, they find something within that game that will work for them, and the Sixers did such a terrific job of carrying that over to this game. Is this trouble for the Hawks? Because right now, Trae Young cannot get past Matisse Thybulle. He can't. He's having such a hard time scoring on Matisse Thybulle. And right now, I feel like the Hawks are just lucky because Kevin Huerter is going off. He's getting a couple of points here and there. John Collins is having a fairly good time as well. And then, again, they're still missing DeAndre Hunter. But the Hawks, again, they need to be able to figure out how to get Trae Young in more spurts because there's absolutely no other guy on that team, apart from Bojan Bogdanovic, who can even get to 20 points. Again, it's going to be super tough for them if they can't figure that out.
Once again, I apologize for that audio mishap. No, something on my end, probably to the audience. I'm sorry. No, I talked shit about Japheth's mic. This is my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah. So, yeah. Diba? Now that Danny, I mean, it still bothers me that there are some possessions na Danny Green is on Trae Young. He should not be on Trae Young.
He should not be on Trae Young.
No, he should not be on Trae Young.
Thybulle is such an amazing job on Trae Young. He is holding that boy down.
Yeah, but it still we're gonna talk about adjustments, in a bit now, but like it still feels that the Hawks are the big winners here because they still took one game on the Sixers home court.
I'm not gonna
that's the point. That's still the point. You should get a split on the higher seed. Diba?
Migs, if there's anything we've learned in these NBA playoffs, care of the Mavericks and the Clippers, that home court advantage is overrated. It just is. Like, what's important to me now is, okay, it's like the Bucks and the Heat. Are you able to find something within a series, not really the series, sorry, are you able to find something within a game to really overwhelm your opponent? Right now, the Sixers have, and it's Matisse Thybulle on Trae Young. That's just it. Same with the Nets and the Bucks, for example. That's just, the Bucks haven't found shit. I think they're in such deep trouble in Game 3. The Nets would just blow this out of the water. Same with the Clippers. The Clippers and the Jazz, still in limbo. You don't know what you're going to get. Again, it's up to Paul George because Paul George hasn't had a breakout game yet. And then with the Suns and the Nuggets, it's still up in the air. You're going to see them play tomorrow. But again, there hasn't been a definitive moment for either team. What's more important to me in these playoff series is if you're able to find something that really works well for you to take this home. And the Sixers have. We put these Thybulle absolutely shadowing Trae Young. It's going to be super difficult. Again, when I saw that Trae Young only had 13 points, I took a look at the game. And when I took a look at the game, I wondered, okay, why does he have 13 points only? And it was only like 6 minutes left to go in the fourth. With 6 minutes left to go in the fourth, the Sixers are up by as many as 14 or 15 points for good reason. There's only one guy on the floor who can do or manufacture points for you. It's Trae Young. And he's being held in check by Matisse Thybulle, not Ben Simmons. Because, again, this is the Ben Simmons fault because I don't know what he's thinking or what he's doing. But he can't knock down free throws to save his life, save anybody's life. And the Hawks are resorting to hack a Ben.
Yeah, hack a Ben, man. It works, huh? It works. It stops the momentum. And then the thing, I don't know now because I think Doc Rivers has issues with putting Ben Simmons on Trae Young too early because you don't want Ben Simmons to pick up those fouls because Trae Young knows how to draw fouls. But the thing is, though, I think it should be a calculated risk because Ben Simmons might be our new defensive player of the year, and then he.
But what's funny?
Yeah.
They haven't announced the depoy. They've announced the
for some reason.
depoy.
Yeah. For some, I think depoy is a far tighter race than MVP ever was, huh? but what I'm back to my point ba, and it should be a calculated risk because he is your best defender for a reason. You know why? Because he knows how to defend without fouling.
Right.
And then we've seen Ben Simmons just clamp down on point guards. Like he's that good.
Yeah.
But
I'll say this. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I mean, Ben Simmons isn't seeing the floor because the Hawks are doing active.
Yeah.
It's not.
And
it's that simple. Ben,
and the thing with having both Matisse Thybulle and Ben Simmons on the floor together ba. I know I said last episode na no, Matisse Thybulle is a better option than Danny Green because of his switchability, and he can be your spot up shooter. But then he's Matisse Thybulle's offensive skills still have a lot of catching up to do. He still needs to improve as an offensive player. So if you have both Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle together on the floor, your offense is gonna take a hit, and that puts a lot more pressure on Joel Embiid, whose knee apparently is okay, and puts a lot more pressure on Tobias Harris. And then I think it's just it's just a calculated risk on Doc Rivers' part. But the great thing for the Sixers, but the great thing about the Sixers is that Embiid's getting his numbers, Toby's getting his numbers. Ben Simmons offensively has not.
He only had 4
then
points, I think, in the last game.
Yeah, offensively has not. But then you don't expect him to be an offensive force, diba? In situations like this, you expect him to be the playmaker in transition who just defends everyone 1 to 5. But I'm telling you, the great thing about the Sixers right now is they've given Seth Curry a rhythm. And then in the fourth quarter, their bench came up big. Weird stat for this game, huh? Philly did not have a bench point until the fourth quarter.
That is true. They were like 37-0.
Yeah, Shake Milton went up for in just 4 minutes, went up for 11 points. In 4 minutes. And the Sixers went on a 24-3 run.
Yeah.
And then, the defense really limited Trae Young, made him a passer.
Yeah.
But I think I just don't want to see any more Danny Green on Trae Young for the rest of the series. I think I know he's in there for his veteran smarts. I know he's in there for the experience. But then, what the fuck does experience do if he's getting burned every time? Diba? Trae Young is just torching him. Diba? And
Thybulle has it, and Thybulle is the best option.
Yeah, give those minutes to Maxey. Give those minutes to Shake Milton. Yeah? Sure. Give Furkan Korkmaz a run.
And Korkmaz too, yeah. So Sixers Hawks, fun matchup to watch. Again, two of the best shit talkers in the league in Joel Embiid and Trae Young. Always a fun matchup when you got those.
And DeAndre Hunter has still not come back.
No DeAndre Hunter sighting, not yet. So
it's big, and it's a big loss for the Hawks.
We'd love to see the Claw of the East make a good comeback in this series. Let's see if that happens for them again. Sixers Hawks tied at 1 apiece. Let's talk about the Nuggets and the newly crowned MVP Nikola Jokic. Again, they announced the MVP earlier than the D boy, which is kind of funny to me. So Nuggets, Suns. The Suns had such a great game against them in Game 1. I thought that, if you're talking about this is one of those games where it's like, again, it's a little bit up in the air, but I feel like the Denver Nuggets, they hung in there. They hung in there with these Phoenix Suns. This is one of the healthiest teams in the league, and when I say that, I'm referring to, again, how well they've been able to manage everybody. They have a full lineup. The Nuggets are, again, missing Jamal Murray and missing him big in this type of series. And Nikola Jokic is not making any excuses whatsoever. His teammates are performing well. Michael Porter Jr. is really becoming that second or third option, a great option at that. What can we expect more from the Suns-Nuggets series?
Well, the Nuggets were up for most of the game, and then the Suns caught up with them late.
Exactly.
Hey, but the thing lang with in this series is that they both have these very potent offensive threats on each team. You have Devin Booker, and then the Nuggets of course have the MVP and Nikola Jokic.
For sure.
And there's no one on each other's team who you would think could stop the other guy's star. Yeah. Because yeah, I mean, Aaron Gordon's there, but you know, it, realistically speaking, you don't see them getting matched up together against each other for very
Yeah.
long stretches, just because of the difference in in speed and position. Because Aaron Gordon is a terrific defender, but we it just didn't. No, it just feels like he hasn't made that much of an impact yet. I don't know.
Right.
Do you sometimes notice that? I mean, do you sometimes notice that like Aaron Gordon disappears during games? Like
I mean,
sometimes you forget that
you're
he's
not.
there.
You don't really expect much from Aaron Gordon, to be honest with you. Hold on, let me just charge my laptop. Go on, go on.
Yeah. No. This is just so evenly matched. But then I have to give it to the Suns just because they have more guys. I mean, they have more depth. And again, Jay Crowder is one of the best signings in the offseason. I mean, just look at how much Miami missed him when he went to the Suns.
Yeah.
And Jay Crowder gives you so much. I know he won't be defending anyone like he's probably gonna try to go up against MPJ, and then that's just like a side matchup that
Yeah.
here you go and Gordon Chris Middleton
I don't
again.
know what the question is here, though. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, because they both like disappear during games. Diba? I think sometimes we really forget about Aaron Gordon's here. Oh, that's why. But then this is just looking at the Suns, but they're just a deeper team. And then their 6-7 guys, their number 6, number 7 guys are a whole lot better than the number 6, number 7 guys on the Nuggets. Because that like, who's the 6-7 guys on for the Suns? It's Cam Johnson and probably Dario Saric, probably who else? Campaign.
Campaign,
Diba?
definitely.
Yeah, so who's the 6-7 guy on
Torrey Craig.
the guy? Torrey Craig was pretty good. Torrey Craig was pretty good this game. So it's
Yeah. Javon Carter. For the Nuggets, I can't even really. I don't really know. Marcus Howard. So the starting point
Monte Morris only had 2 points in 23 minutes.
Monte Morris, Michael
Yeah.
Green. These aren't really guys that jump out of the page at all. They don't scare you, right? Nikola Jokic. So the lineup goes Jokic, Gordon, Campazzo, Michael Porter Jr. And I keep forgetting their 2 guy. I really can't put a finger on who their number 2 is. I can't.
Austin Rivers.
Austin Rivers. Okay, that's not bad. But then when you go deep down their bench, you got a bunch of guys who, I don't know, Paul Millsap, is he playing? I don't know if he's playing or not. Okay, let's say he is. And then you got, again, it's a very weird situation with the Nuggets lineup wise. But again, there's nobody on that bench that kind of puts any kind of fear in you. The Suns bench looks a lot deeper and a lot more talented, especially with Cam Johnson being there. He was their former starter for them.
And this just goes to show how important Jamal Murray was to this team. Because again, when you have that Jamal Murray Jokic like pick and roll, that handoff action that they have, it's virtually unstoppable because it's
Oh man, it gave the Lakers fits.
Yeah, when they ran that play, when the Nuggets would run that play, it's a pick your poison type of situation, and either way you're gonna get hurt. Either way, whatever option you're gonna go, it's gonna hurt you.
Last year in the bubble.
Diba? So it's and then with Jokic being your only legit offensive threat, it gives the Suns more leeway to try a lot of things out with these other matchups. They can load up on Jokic, or they can even force Jokic. Okay, Jokic, go score. But that was one of the big things during this game is that Jokic only had 4 or 5 assists.
Yeah.
So I mean, he only had 3 assists. So if he isn't playmaker, I know we all know he can score. We all know he can put up the numbers. But then if he doesn't get a lot of other guys going, or if the other guys don't get if the other guys don't get buckets, it's hard for them to win. And the thing is, they get all those points from his assists.
Yeah.
Diba?
That's definitely the way this series is going with the Nuggets. Okay, and I know Jokic is not making any kind of excuses. The Nuggets they're primarily built to be this type of team. Right now, they have to center their offense around Nikola Jokic. Michael Porter Jr. has to step up big time for this team to win. And really, in a nutshell, where can the Nuggets get more production? Not just a standard production, but more production. And right now, all roads lead to both Austin Rivers and Aaron Gordon. They got to step it up in Game 2 because the Suns are functioning like they're. Devin Booker only scored like 18 points in this game, and they still won. Think about that for a second. Their best scorer, who has the ability to score 70 points, only had 17, and they still won. I think 17 or 18 points, could have been 20, I don't know. But it wasn't that overwhelming, and it wasn't that much. It wasn't like in the 47 and put on the Lakers to close them out. So this is how dangerous the Phoenix Suns are. They have a guy who on any given night can drop 40 on you, and he can do that consistently with Devin Booker. He can put a big number on you. But there are nights where he doesn't even need to do that because everybody else is just so good. So for the Nuggets, big thing that you got to figure out is, okay, where are you going to get more production? Not your standard production from Aaron Gordon and Austin Rivers, because you're going to get your Nikola Jokic performance. You're going to get your MPJ. But now it's up to guys like Aaron Gordon, Austin Rivers to really put the pedal to the metal and step up in a really big way.
Yeah. And the thing is, Chris Paul does not have like a worrisome matchup. He is not gonna be busy during this series because he could care less about Campasso. He could care less about Monte Morris. So that gives him a lot more time to recover, a lot more time to get his rhythm back. So the Suns are a really scary team. I mean, it's still very difficult. It's still very difficult to say that the Suns are like championship contenders, but they are. They are now. I mean, let's face it. I mean, it's a very young team. And I have to say this. Mikal Bridges should get like a lot of love for his defense. He should get a lot of recognition for that. Because all those chase down blocks that he has, those are great.
Great effort from the Villanova graduate, and again, let's see how the series pans out. Where will the help be coming from for Nikola Jokic, and can the Denver Nuggets bust out in Game 2 with the W and then back to Denver? Use that altitude to calm down the heat from the sun, pun intended. Here we go. It is the $1 million question, sponsored by Showroom.ph. Again, for all of your home needs here in the Queen City of the South, whether it's a condo or an actual home, house, and lot here in the Queen City of the South, Showroom.ph is your go-to for anything and everything home related. Here's the question, Miguel. Nikola Jokic gets the MVP award. Now, I mean, there was a couple of debates here and there about him and Joel Embiid. Ultimately, I think it was just the fact that Nikola Jokic has performed great. He has led the Nuggets into an incredible run here. Right now, again, they're down 1-0 in the NBA playoffs, and there's still a lot more basketball to be played in that way. Question here is, okay, so if Nikola Jokic wins MVP, it kind of got me wondering, who in our minds, in the whole history of the NBA, who has been who is the greatest would have been MVP? Who's the one player in a season's MVP race that should have won MVP? There's just one in my mind. There's just one in my mind right now, but I want to know who you have to say.
I don't know. Probably LeBron in 2011. He was pretty good that year.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade in like 2009. 2006. Yeah, 2006. Yeah, 2006.
That was like ultimate D-Wade.
Yeah, and just as a Lakers fan, again, that second Steve Nash MVP. Yes. In 2007, man. I mean, 2006 still. I mean, Kobe was pretty good that year, but again, it was a team thing. Lakers weren't that great. But then, Dwayne, just because he didn't win MVP, Dwayne, everyone forgets how good Prime D Wade was.
It was.
And then
I patterned my game. The Wade shoes sold out like crazy for Converse in 2006 through 2010 because that's how good Dwayne Wade was. He was such a marketable player. Everybody wanted Wade shoes. And
then people forget, no? Like, people really forget that Dwayne Wade was only 6'3", 6'4".
6'4".
So he was undersized for a two guard, but then it was during a time na the 3-point shot wasn't really a thing. Like it was, it wasn't a main option, and then all he had was this like perimeter jump shots, and then he would drive. He would make all those drives, and man, he was so good. He was so good, man.
Wait.
It's just difficult to imagine. I mean, it's just difficult to think na like a lot of today's generation of NBA fans, they only saw like the older D Wade who was on his last season with the Heat, or the older D Wade who played a bit in Chicago, sucked in Cleveland.
Right.
Diba?
Right. So for me, as much as I hated this guy, I really have to give it to him because I felt like he was always in the worst situation when it came to the MVP voting, and that's really Kobe Bryant. When he was in his prime years, his MVP hopes ran into the LeBron James prime Cleveland years, where it made more sense to award LeBron James the MVP more than it did Kobe because, again, he was carrying a crap shot of a team. And Kobe, sans that year where seeing that, because again, he didn't have the narrative going for him. It was a great. He put up a monumental effort. All right, but again, they weren't winning. It's just a testament that he's a great scorer, but he's on the bad team. So you're gonna see those points come in bunches. And that was also the year where he scored 81 points. So Kobe Bryant to me is like the greatest who should have been MVP, and he only won one. How crazy is it that Kobe Bryant only won one league MVP? Like, somebody tell me how that, as great as Kobe Bryant has been throughout his entire career, just one.
Like even during the three-peat, diba?
Oh my God, yes.
Even during the three-peat.
Yeah, but that's Shaq. See, this is the problem.
Yeah, man, but
Kobe Bryant. Yeah.
It was, I think, in 2001. He averaged like 29 points a game in the playoffs. Like, that's crazy. And then, yeah, I know, I get it. Shaq was the unstoppable force that he was, but then you couldn't. You still, but even during that era, you couldn't play Shaq in the clutch. So it had to go through Kobe.
Exactly.
Had to go through Kobe.
I can't remember. So Shaq won it in 2001. 2000. Allen Iverson won it in 2001. Jason Kidd won it in 2002. Tim Duncan won it in 2003.
No, 2002 was Duncan. 02 and 03 was Duncan.
Okay,
04 was Kevin Garnett.
Oh, 04, okay, Kevin Garnett. That's when he made NBA Live. All right, who won in 2005? Was that? Oh yeah, Nash won it back to back. 2007, LeBron James. 2008, I think it's also LeBron James.
No, 7 was Dirk.
Oh, 7 was Dirk. Right. Okay, 7 was Dirk. Okay, but the point being that Kobe Bryant just won.
Yeah, because the narrative before was like the narrative during that era was Kobe's a ball hog. Kobe's a bad teammate. But that was the narrative. Kobe is like this disgruntled superstar who won too early.
I can't wait for LeBron James to retire.
I mean, that's that they were saying that Kobe won too early. He was very spoiled, and he really didn't know how to win on his own. But then I tell you, if Kobe did that during this era, everyone would be so sympathetic of Kobe. He would be, he'd be treated like Damian Lillard because they'd be saying, "Oh, he has to put up those points for them to have a chance. Oh, he does not have help. That's why he has to score like 50 and 60 a night."
But Damian Lillard is not making excuses. Let's be clear. But again,
yeah, I mean, to be fair.
That is true. If for those who are diehard Kobe fans and for those who are diehard Laker fans, you know this blip in history from 2000 through 2008.
Only one.
2009, he won one league MVP because that was probably also the narrative. He was a selfish player. He was a complete ball hog.
Difficult. He was difficult.
Not just his teammates. He was very difficult to work with. He was a difficult teammate, and again, he didn't make anybody else better. He was trying too hard to be like Mike, which I thought hurt Kobe a lot. For all again, I appreciated Kobe when he finally left the NBA. I was one of those people that regretted it because I hated Kobe because of when they would eliminate the Phoenix Suns. I was such a big Suns fan, and I just hated him. I didn't like him. Like, what? Why are people so high? This guy, he's a ball hog.
They got the Lakers twice in a row, huh? They came back from 3-1 down in the first round.
Yeah, but then when you move on to the parts because the Suns never won a chip because they ran into the prime San Antonio Spurs.
No, the Suns didn't won. The Suns didn't won in 2007 because of Robert Horry.
And
shoulder checking Steve Nash and breaking his nose.
That wasn't the shoulder check game. Because the shoulder check game was in 2009, I think. Because that's when they had Shaq. Remember?
No, that's 2007.
Was it?
Shoulder check game was 2007.
Yeah, and then Steve Nash broke his nose. Was that the same series?
Yeah, Steve Nash broke his nose. So Robert Horry, shoulder check, Steve Nash, broke his nose. And then Stoudemire and I think Boris Diaw, they were on the bench, came on the floor, went on the floor, and that merited an automatic suspension. They were on the floor for like a couple of seconds, and then they went back to the bench. Automatic suspension. Spurs won, went up against the Cavs, swept them in 4.
I thought the Phoenix Suns went, man. I remember those series. Those were so
All
hard
in here.
to watch.
All in here.
So heartbreaking to watch. I remember those were the Rajon Bell, Steve Nash, Barbosa. Barbosa was in the prime of his career.
Yeah.
So tough to watch.
Kobe just won?
Now,
Really? Dwayne Wade never?
Dwayne Wade never.
Really?
Kobe Bryant just won. Think about that. These all-time greats, 2-guard, just won. Which, I mean, spin it any way you want, but this leads us to the end of this show. Man, great show again. I want to give a mad shout out to the 4 people who are watching us right now. They're sticking it out all the way till the end. Migs, who do you want to give a shout out to? Who do you want to show some love to before we end the show?
Oh yeah, shout out to all the frontliners who are still keeping up the good fight. Diba? So thank you for keeping us safe. I have not gotten vaccinated yet, and it's still not available here in Ormoc. For our category, they've started vaccinating the senior citizens, the A1s, and I think the A2s now starting.
Right.
So so guys, just stay safe. Don't take unnecessary risks.
Right.
I can't believe that people were partying. Did you see that video? People were partying last week in Cebu. It's crazy.
I don't even know
It's
what
crazy.
bond that
No
was.
masks. No masks. No social distancing.
COVID, though.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is a real thing. People die from this. People have sacrificed their lives for this. Don't be a
Or it
dick.
finally ends.
Don't be a dick. Yeah. And again,
it feels like I feel like we're near the end already with this pandemic. I feel like
I don't know,
like
man.
a couple of more. It feels like
I don't know at the rate we're going.
Yeah, I mean, for me, honestly, here in Cebu, it kind of feels like it. Honestly, mixed because we don't have any more checkpoints. The only thing missing is for government to really say we'll open up the nightlife again because the nightlife has been banned. There's just no nightlife here in Cebu because for good reason with the pandemic. But there's some light towards the end of the tunnel because again, businesses are starting to sprout back up. People are going back to work. The traffic is indicative of how everything is just sort of coming back to some type of normalcy. And again, let's just not fuck it up. We're close. I can feel it. We're all
Don't be a dick, guys.
Yeah. Go partying, bro. Fuck. No social distancing, no masks. Y'all tripping out there, man. I mean, I'm from Cebu. I didn't even know this was going on. And I know that I didn't get from the bar, but fuck. Come on now. Ruin it for everybody. We're almost there.
I mean,
now,
if you look at the video, you would probably say that this was pre-COVID because no one was wearing masks and everyone's crazy shit.
Yeah, crazy shit for sure. I mean, again, these rich kids, don't fuck it up, please. We're almost there. Just hang on for a little bit. I'm sure you can last a couple more months without having to party. We're all good. From my end here, NBA Front Row, the podcast, I want to give a mad shout out again to Quaid Dilao City Q. If you guys want some spice in your life and in your food, it's City Q all the way. Quaid might want to make that a sticker somewhere. And mad shout out as well to showroom.ph, quality homes, quality prices. If you are looking for a home in the Queen City of the South, make sure to drop by facebook.com/theshowroomph for all your home needs. This has been Jeff, my boy Migs in the red hat. That is not a MAGA hat, just in case you were wondering. And we're out. We'll see you guys on Monday. And stay tuned for Miggy's Friday Phil, y'all. See you soon.